Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in work. Grinding all day, you know it's game on. My skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive. Ain't gotta look nowhere else. All of this greatness inside.
We can fill up both hands.
Yes, we can.
Oh, that's an out of context right there. Are we listening to another?
There we go.
I love it.
Trying to look forward, look backwards.
It's all right.
We're good.
Yeah. Leave it there. That's good. So episode 10.
10.
All about the grind. So we're going to call this one just, fast break?
That'll work.
Yeah, a little bit of an update. A little bit of, no updates really for me. I do have one young lady that we're going to bring back on. So what we're going to do here tonight is first, if you're enjoying this show, All About the Grind with myself, Brett Blankenship, David Hopek, and all the wonderful grinders that have come through here, and I think I can classify every one of them as a grinder right now. I can't call BS on any of them.
None that I've noticed.
I can call BS on little parts in it, maybe.
Some.
And we'll talk about that here in just a minute. But what this episode is about is a little bit about, we're going to go through all the guests that we have visited with and that we've learned from, some of the things that we've learned. I'll probably hear some stuff from Dave that I didn't know, and who knows where it goes. I mean, that's what the grind's about. It's a authentically raw journey. Come along or scroll by, because sometimes we're not for people. We got 44 subscribers right now.
That's awesome.
That is freaking ridiculous. This is not about the number. How long have we said it? Long before this thing even got set up.
Before we even did it.
Yeah.
You said it didn't matter how many we got.
No, it didn't. It doesn't. Because the journey's mine. It seems like you're jumping on.
A little bit.
Yeah.
It's fun.
It is fun. It's fun to hear. It's fun to hear what, do you need that turned to you?
No, I was just making sure we were on.
Yeah, good. Good boy. Because, heck if I know.
I hate to sit here for 20 minutes and I'll be like, oh, didn't hit record.
Now, we've done that, right?
Not for that long, but I noticed after a minute or two and we started over.
Who cares? We learn. We're much better. Let's see. Yeah, so 10.
Yeah, this is 10th.
Starting off with Al Emmerich. I don't really want to go in order, but I'm going to use Al to sort of jump it there for a minute. But I am going to use all those for reference. It's not like I don't watch them all a bunch of times. You learn something new every time you watch it, for me.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, you know me, I'm technical. And so I go through and I listen for and I listen for I talk way too long there. And, they're the guests, and they were talking, and I interrupted them.
Yeah. Sometimes what I notice is when they have a low spot, you just try to fill in the space.
Oh yeah, well that's sort of what you got to do. You got to keep the conversation moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's that can be. You got it.
Yeah, we'll get it.
And that can be that can be exhausting sometimes. I get home after some of these, and I sleep like a baby.
There you go.
You better?
Yeah. Now I can look at you more.
Sorry about all the wrangling. It's okay. It happens.
We're good.
Yeah, they'll survive. So the questions to keep them moving. With Al, they didn't take many questions.
No.
No, Al is you want to talk about an expert communicator. Probably the first man I met. Let me make sure I'm being accurate. Don't have to call bullshit on me. Yeah, he probably was the first adult male communicator I ever plugged into.
Really?
Yeah, because all I did was play sports.
True.
You jocks weren't communicators.
Not much.
Come on now.
Not much.
Here's me, the little pipsqueak bouncing around. All you studs. Yeah, no.
You pipsqueak, and then you think about Al in the outfield when you're telling the story.
That was hilarious. That is like one of my lifelong memories that will be with me. He could end up hating me and it wouldn't matter. Because that story of him like an antelope, I'm telling you, his knees were out in front of him. It was like a cartoon. And he's like leaning back. And and I'm watching this guy, and I'm hanging out with all you ball players, because there were some
big time ball players.
Well, the Jacksonville Jaguars did a tryout in 95, 94.
So we had some of the best in the city coming out.
Next week, we're going to have Jeff Imperial. I am so freaking excited.
That'll be fun.
Oh, yeah, because this guy will be able to tell me exactly when the Jaguars, and he is a sports guru, has been around every NFL, not every, but so many Hall of Famers, has pictures with them all. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and is in the production side of sports, I guess is the best way to put it, with Florida and the Jaguars. And,
Yeah.
did I say it right? Jaguars.
Jaguars.
How do you say it?
Jaguar.
I've been here forever. You say
Not
it.
a jaguar.
Did
It's
I
a
say it?
jaguar.
Okay, well, all right. Jaguar. That's how you want me to say it.
Jaguar.
And yet we yell Duval.
8,000 times a game.
Yeah. But I'm going to tell you, you're known for it.
Oh, without doubt. You go to different cities, and if you see someone in a Jaguar shirt, someone's going to yell it.
Yeah, I actually have yelled it twice.
Have you?
Yeah, and you know me, I was always anti when
Yeah.
it first started. I was like, that's silly. And that sort of caught on. But I'm not I love the Jags because they're local. I despise them for how they represent our city.
It hasn't been good recently.
Jags. Here's what the Jags are. I think this is a proper way of describing this. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Can I say Jaguars?
Sure. You said how you want.
As a 2 and what? What did they end up with?
4-13.
Yeah, I don't even know. I mean, the freaking Cowboys, they finally got rid of MacArthur. Yeah, I'm a Cowboys fan. Go ahead.
Got rid of your coach finally.
Huh? It doesn't matter. The Joneses own it. It doesn't matter. It's the same reason the Jaguars.
Yeah. Good job.
Jags. Wars.
Jaguar.
Go Jaguars.
The-
You have 3 beers and go sit anywhere other than even up in the box seats. They're wires.
Yeah. A lot of them are.
This is the Bold. What was it? The Bold City.
Bold City Brewing.
No, it was Bold City of the South. It used to be the Bold City of the South. They changed that a long time ago.
About that one.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah.
I know about Bold City Brewery and all that. That must be where that came from.
Yeah, that's where that came from.
Right.
But no, they changed the name to whatever it is now. I don't know. I like being in Clay County. I like where we are. It's a little different. All right, so Jaguars are like. Oh, you thought I was going to forget where I was? No, sir. No, I'm not. I just sharpened my pencil. The Jaguars are like selling. I'm in furniture, right? Are like selling a 3-legged table at full price, and then literally getting on there and just explaining. I'm trying to hype them up for a 3-legged table.
You
and
get home, it looks great. You're excited to use it, and then it doesn't function correctly.
It doesn't. Like that one. I mean, every now and then I get a bad buy. I mean, hello. I mean, I buy a bunch,
Right.
but that one bowl that had the legs that were too
3
close.
little legs.
And I had one at the house, and you're supposed to put fruit in it and bananas
Did it fall over?
bonk. That's the Jaguars.
Yep.
The Jaguars are like a table with 3 legs that are really too close.
That's a good analogy.
Yeah. So I mean, if you put the plates in just the right spot, and you lean just right, you may not tip it over. But
you have those people who still believe that bowl is going to work perfectly.
well, let me say this: 4. What was the record?
4-13, I believe.
Okay, 4 out of 13 times that thing's going to stand.
4 out of 17 times.
Okay, thank you. I don't even know the schedule. So 4 out of 17 times that thing's going to stand.
Yep.
So the rest of the time it's going to fall.
So 25% of the time it'll stand.
Thank you for doing the math, Dave.
There you go.
That's one of the main reasons, not the main reason. It's one of the good reasons you're here. You have a good brain. I don't have that. I just know that it's like a tipsy table.
Yep.
And yet they want me to pay premium pricing. And I may be a goofball, but in business sense, that really is a reality. It's an inferior product, and you keep raising your prices.
I'll tell you what, though, down here, like watching the games here, tickets are expensive.
Because some people may not know. Tell them where you're from.
From up north, New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Like
you came down how long ago? So they don't call you a
been here
bandwagon.
for 33 years now.
33 freaking years.
But I still have family up there.
Yeah.
And like down here, at least you can get a ticket for $50-$60 if you want to go sit up in the upper level and watch a game.
Because they're 4 and what, Dave? 4 and 13?
But so are the Giants and the Jets. And you're still spending $300 in the upper level up there.
Well, if they, with what they're building next, you really think the tickets will stay the same?
Probably not.
That's why I think Banana Ball. Look at that segue, Dave.
There you go.
Hey, in the video production world, we call that a segue. Transition. Al, he'll help me. Yeah. So Al, Antelope, Transition, Banana Ball, Jaguars, Wars. I will work on it because I want to respect them when they're respectable. So. That's about all I'm going to say for the Jaguars because, I mean,
it might be a while before you say that. But you were the one from day one who didn't think he was a good quarterback.
I said it.
Yep. And he's starting to prove it.
Yeah. Bo Nix.
Kid's got some talent.
But he didn't look it in college. He overthrew.
He didn't look it when he was at Auburn in college. When he played his last years at Oregon, he did.
That's true. But he was, 27 by then? How many years was he in college?
5 or 6, at least.
Yeah. College ball. I mean, I think banana ball is ahead of college ball and is ahead of pro ball in baseball. Matter of fact, baseball started is it Golden? We went through
the Golden Battle Rule.
What episode? There was banana ball.
Yeah, we talked about it with Zach and Tanner.
Tanner Thomas, Zach Blankenship. Both. Well, one's a party animal now. One's a Texas tailgater. They were the fans' first organization, which is Savannah Banana Ball.
Yes.
Savannah Bananas, which is what everybody knows. And party animals are beginning to be that, like he said, like Tanner Thomas said, there was 30-40% that were starting to wear the black and pink.
In the stands. Cool. You said at least 20% now wear the black and pink.
20%. There you go.
Compared to, you'd see one or two at the beginning.
Right. What a neat couple of young men. Zach talking about his higher power God and Tanner. And there's such, I don't know any other way to say it, but it really sort of like prudence. Is that the right word? It's not a cool word, but I'm going to tell you, they're men that when they sit, there's depth to them.
Oh, without a doubt.
That whatever that word is, fancy word that someone else wants to use, there's depth to those two men that is positively enriching.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep.
That's true.
Words came.
Yeah. Well, because, you feel it when you sit with them. I just got, sitting there.
That was a fun couple hours to sit here.
Yeah. And the views are growing, and they'll continue. As this channel grows, it'll continue to grow. And we hopefully will have, I want to sit down individually with Bam and talk strength and talk stretching at our age. You know what I've been through with the back injuries. And, I worked really hard to protect my back, and one rear end.
There it goes.
I don't know how these people get any money off anybody. I got nothing. Zero.
Hey, I got rear-ended by a cement truck.
Did you get any money?
No, because the person that was here was illegal that owned the company. So they impounded the trucks, deported to him, and I didn't even get my deductible back.
How old were you?
33, 34.
Wow.
Yep. The back tail light of my Mustang was against the back of my driver's seat. I was on an off ramp.
Did you go to the hospital, obviously?
No.
What?
No.
All right, Dave.
But went through all the chiropractors and all the doctors.
You paid for all that out of pocket?
Nope, insurance covered it.
Okay, so that, they at least helped with that.
Yep. But had to pay for my own deductible to get my car fixed. And the government got the money from the trucks.
Wow.
Yep.
You can't sue the government.
That tells you how that goes.
Wow. That sucked. And then you did have another time where you fell on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Black floor, black lamp. And it's a guy you like. I like him. He's a nice fella. I don't know him maybe as closely as you because I didn't work for him. But I said, Dave, you need to document that. If that was my business, I would have documented it. I said, you're going to have problems in the future. And
you're right.
And it is here now.
Yeah.
in the future, for other people, it's not about being Sue happy, because often as an owner, you take care of it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, one, I would never have a black fan
In
on
a
a black
dark room,
floor
on a dark floor.
at a restaurant that becomes a dance floor. You were carrying a tray and you came around the corner, and then it was sitting at the corner, was it not?
Yeah.
So you're coming around the corner with tray in the dark, in strobe lights, and
fell right over the fan.
jeez,
It was a good one. Broke shoulder.
yeah, it wasn't good because you're paying to this day for that.
Partial.
Yeah.
Part of my shoulder problems are from that.
Yeah, others,
Not all of them.
others pitching, right?
Not even really pitching. It was I think it came more in softball without warming up right.
Yep.
Because I never had a problem pitching, but a couple of years in the slow pitch softball, it started going.
People always made fun of me because I would get there early and I would stretch. I mean, I was 30 minutes where I would take my time on my legs and my arm, and I would stretch, and and that was long before Bam Bam. I mean, I didn't have any kids back then, but I would, and I would prepared, and I got up this morning. I do different stretches, but yeah,
I stretched more during
flexibility.
softball than a lot of people did, just because my problems actually started senior year of football. I separated my shoulder,
Yeah,
so everything got stretched out in there.
yeah. I was playing for Gate.
Hated y'all.
I wasn't them studs. Every now and then I'd be at a tournament, and I was one of that scrappy bunch, and we'd be with Stellar or something like that. When we had sponsors, and we were good, and we competed, but I mean, there was the big boys, and every now and then they would be playing so long somebody had to go, and they need to pick somebody up. And
there you were.
Hey man, I always had my bat in cleats, man. I was willing to travel if it was a quality. Matter of fact, if it sucked, I was still willing to travel. I played that game.
You would have enjoyed it. When I was in college, I played for U.S. Air.
Oh,
So we'd hop on a plane and go play softball for a weekend and come back.
yep.
It was a blast.
Yeah, they had to pay for ours, but we usually stayed just Virginia and down. So most of us like driving anyways. You stop and have a good time. So Banana Ball. I'm gonna get back to that versus the Jaguars. What is a better value for me right now? Now can you go to 1 million Banana Ball games? I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see this year. Yeah, they're adding more teams, but it'll be interesting to see if they adjust, dances and adjust. Now they're known for certain things, and you keep that.
I'm curious how it's going to happen when it's not the bananas playing.
Well, the party animals have already proved it. I mean, Bam and them were out there. Bam and Tanner Thomas were out there in Houston. What is the Houston Stadium? We don't have to go. We don't have to look it up right now. It was 60.
Park.
It was 61,000, 51,000.
Right.
We'll look it up later. If I'm dead wrong, we'll post something.
Right.
I don't edit this thing. Eventually, we're going to edit it because, I have shorts already cut for the Banana Ball.
Okay.
I have got to upload them.
You haven't got them on yet?
Well, there's a couple things. I don't want to do what everybody else does.
True.
You can actually watch on TV, and they allow the words, because AI will edit some of this, and they'll allow the words to be spelled wrong. My behind, I can't do it. I have to go and edit it, and it's just taking a little bit more time. I'm looking for a third person. Because I want you with a headset and a mic, and we're going to have 2 computers, but we'll have the TV back here as well, so you don't have to be as focused on the computer.
Gotcha.
Because you're a good conversationalist, and you know when to jump in, and you know when a guest is running. And
that'd be fun.
Yeah, there was not much that had to be done really with Al Emmerich.
No, not at all.
You open the door, and that wisdom that he spit out that day about value mapping was phenomenal.
Neat because you always talked about it, and I've never knew anything about it, but it was pretty interesting to listen to him talk about it.
Other than John Everson, and my dad. That's not true. See,
you getting the meter out? You get to use it on yourself.
That's not true. I've had a lot of good men in my life. I've had a lot of in-depth conversations. Preacher McCormick, man, I was sitting in a field. It was 2004. The reason I know that is I bought the first year the Nissan Titan came out.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah. And I put like 22s on them. I mean, the shiny chrome, and I had the thin. Dave, leave me alone, man. I didn't realize. Okay, so I'm like, sometimes I'm moving way too fast, and I got to buy. I bought a truck. I bought rims. I mean, we just did 3 cars this week.
Right.
You've seen the chaos. So, we did a van and 2 vehicles. So my daughter didn't think we were going to get it done today, and we did. So, and here we sit. So I got sidetracked. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. So my rims. So I had my rims, and then I thought they were impressions, but really they were cubic zirconias. And so for the next year, I would like roll up.
So you had like diamond rims.
Oh, I blinded you, Bubba, because I kept them shiny, baby. I kept my chrome. I mean, it was bright and right. You see what I'm saying? Oh, my gosh. I love that truck. And I actually sold it so I could start Nutty Idea.
That still needs to come back.
It's coming. It's coming. Yeah, I'll just leave that there for now. Well, good luck to anybody trying to duplicate it.
Oh, it'll be.
Yeah. I mean, because there's already big boys in the game, and it's sort of like, unfinished. Dive in if you want. You better have the right finishers. You better know how to deal with, what we deal with.
I just look at this wall right here, and it'd be perfect.
That room behind us, I have an idea. We'll talk about that later.
All right.
Yeah. I can stay authentically raw and still keep things. Hey, we're playing poker and keep things close to the vest. I need to write something up back behind here. So I don't have to, you know what I mean? Yeah. So there was, let me think of this for a second. One, Papa Noel. Oh my gosh. And I'm just going to keep his name right there for right now, because he's a whole show. I can't get him because he's gone. What a man. He was a Brazil. He was a Alabama boy. And he had this big long beard. And he's about 6'6". And he always wore red boots. He's a backwoods country boy. I don't know his back story because I will never do a video interview. It has to be in person. So I don't know that I can get this young man down. I'm going to try. So his son is a big Auburn fan. I know Jamie Ellis will love that. What another great couple. We're going to get to them. But his dad started a mission in Brazil. And so my father grew up in Brazil. And that's how we got into importing furniture from Brazil and we would just go down there. We knew families that knew families because they're not big factories the way you think. Even for like Rooms to Go, which was big, back then, and importing from Brazil because the dollar and the reais were great, whatever. So back then, and we would go down there. Well, so we would go, and Papa Noel, sometime in the 70s, I don't know what started it. He's gone now, but I'll get Mr. B on here one day. And that's another person we'll get on here because he'll have a great memory of some of these men, like Preacher McCormick. What a man. He's still alive. So I'll get him on here. That man has a stories. I mean, he's walked in spiritual warfares. Whew. You want to know if there is a higher power and a lower power, and if there is fights going on for people. I mean, you get to some of these third world countries, and to me, it's much more open. It's starting to become more open in America, in my opinion, as we open those doors. The things I remember seeing the trash in Brazil. We'd be riding in the back of a truck because you're on the edge of the Amazon when you're building these churches. Right. You wouldn't be in I've never even been to Rio de Janeiro. I don't even know what it looks like.
You were in all the outskirts.
Yeah, I loved it. You fly into Manaus and you go to Belém and Parenchine, all these small little Florianopolis and all these small little towns all over the place. I have to have Mr. B sitting here to tell me where I went. I just went. I never stopped long enough to remember the towns and to enjoy the moments right there. I was always there building the church or whatever. So, and Papa Noel was always chipping away at me. Not like chirping, right, but chipping away. He was a wise fella. And so he did it for years and years and years and years. And he looked like Santa Claus. And so they would call him down in Brazil, Papa Noel.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and when he would talk, he was a big old guy, big belly and blue jeans, light blue. Always had light blue jeans like this, just a good fella. And then I visited him in Alabama once or twice at Haven Baptist, I think. I can't remember. They're Auburn people. They're annoying.
Sorry, Jamie.
Yeah. No, she hasn't been quite well. I stay away from talking about football with her because I can tell she's Auburn.
Big time Auburn.
Okay, so Auburn has that blowout moments. They have those games like against Alabama where they ran the punt. They ran
the kickback for the.
They ran the field goal back for a touchdown.
Against
Are
Alabama
you
and
kidding me?
Iron
And then the one off of Tennessee that bounced off the guy's helmet, was it Tennessee?
No, that was Georgia.
Was that? Oh, was that you boys?
We were at the back of the bar watching both of those.
Man, that was a long time ago then because I
Yep.
ain't drank in coming up on 10 years.
There was that. They were both like 15 years ago.
Has it been that long? We're getting old.
Yep.
That's why I like this show.
Yeah, I was in my 30s still.
Wow. That just took me back a moment.
Think about that one.
But those were the
Doesn't
moments
seem like
I
it's
remember.
been that long
No,
since
well,
we were out doing that.
No, but tell me another moment in Auburn's history that was bigger than those moments. Well, Bo Jackson. I mean, I don't want to go back that far. I'm talking about like since we watched those 15 years ago, 14, whatever it was. Jamie will comment. She'll tell me the exact time.
I don't know much.
I can't think of another like wow moment other than those two. I mean, there's other great games.
Oh, without a doubt.
So I mean, the Gators in bowl games, Auburn always roar up and beat us, and we never got to play them again. And now we're going to be playing them all the time, I think. So the SEC has really gotten tough.
It's going to be different watching the SEC these days.
But with NIL, is this even going to be? These are grown men now.
You're buying your team now, just like professional baseball teams did for a long time, and they just ignored a salary and they paid the luxury tax.
Bet you missed this. Did you see the Virginia basketball coach quit?
Did you really?
Quit. You mean that clean cut, good looking, his name slipping me. He just quit over NIL. He says this. He says, I wish I was the one that could take this program to where it needs to go. He said, but with the new way that this is set up, and he was just saying, he goes, I'm not the right guy. I was the right guy with the way the basketball. He says, but this thing's going to need, and he started rattling off stuff. He said, this is going to need collective bargaining was the first thing. He said,
wow.
He said, this is going to need an NFL style layout, something along that lines. This is where I need a third person where they're throwing that stuff up, like you see.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're this close. So anyways, it doesn't matter. It's still good this way. And he quit mid-season now. So that is the second coach. The Miami coach quit.
I didn't know the Miami coach quit.
Wait. Let me make sure I'm right. Was it Miami? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it was Miami. Okay. A top tier, or Syracuse? Okay, now you got me guessing. So a top tier coach left, and now this gentleman from Virginia. I'll post in the comments who the other person was. I can't believe it's not coming to mind. So this NIL is going to be totally different. It's going to change. It's a game changer. Yeah, no, that's perfect. That's why I put my phone here too, to make sure I get all of our guests. We definitely will have Tanner and Zach back on. I'd like to get him in here individually, and I'd like to get Bam's roommate when he comes through.
What is his name?
Don't put me on the spot.
Okay.
If I say Bam's roommate, then he's going to slap me. My gosh, they're going to make me sit here and think. I got to you got to keep me rolling. Don't slow that down.
Nope.
Anyways, oh my gosh. I mean, I can see his dances and I can see his face. He's on
something.
So Bam's TikTok and his blew up about this stupid couch. How many views does he have? Go to the TikTok real quick and tell me how many views Bam has on this stupid TikTok That
What would
is,
it be under Zach Blankenship?
it's Zach Blankenship 37. Zach Blankenship. If you type Zach Blankenship, you don't follow him on Instagram, Dave. They get
You
paid.
told me to go on TikTok.
Oh, sorry. Well, I'm wrong. Turn your volume down, though. No, I'm wrong. Turn your volume down. Thank you. Yeah, it's Zach. If I can ever get to the front, they just pop up usually. There he is, right there. Zach Blankenship _ something or another. Maybe it is TikTok. I don't see the couch.
I'm looking for it. I don't find it. I can't
Do
find
you
it.
see it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see if Bam watches any of these. I'm gonna say he doesn't.
No.
I have no control over it. Oh, there it is, right there. I'm wrong. Sorry, buddy.
So how many followers did that get?
I have no idea, but it's got over almost 15,000 likes.
That's awesome.
The comments are absolutely hilarious because he has his party animal Crocs on, but they call it. I mean, these are all the ball players. They call it sport mode when they
put the little plastic
I
thing
don't know
up.
anything about this,
Yeah.
and I'm sitting here cracking up. So he's got this couch on the first floor, and he is lifting it up to the second floor. Oh, you know what? He'll comment on here, and his name will be here, and then I can give him props. Why would you come on a show where you can't even remember the guy's name? Your roommate. Oh, my gosh. I'm such a bozo. I'll let you look. I can't do it. Anyways, and they finally get it up. And so the comments are the Crocs and Croc mode. And then Bam has to run upstairs while he holds it. And he's like, you got it? You got it? And it was
This is heavy.
yeah. He's like, well, he doesn't even have the legs. Like, Bam's run upstairs and he doesn't even have the legs. He's just like holding the sides, like pressuring in. And bless his heart, Bam gets up there and just like muscles that thing up there. Thank God for his strength. I mean, that boy works hard. Ever since he tore his labrum, junior year of high school?
Yeah.
I mean, he is now 26. So that was what? You're what, 16? So it's been 10 years.
Yeah, they graduated in 16? 15.
They graduated in 15.
15.
So he did it in 14, 13, 14, 2013, 2014. Yeah, so he's 14 years old. It probably was tore in middle school. And that's not.
It started for sure earlier.
Yeah, and just for the viewers, that's not from curveballs. I wouldn't let him throw a curveball. He's a lefty. It's from his arm lagging behind his body.
Yep.
And I wasn't a good enough baseball coach for that. No one else caught it, even in JUCO or anything. It was sort of weird. He had to self-analyze. When they finally started doing video, why JUCO does not, the good JUCOs do. What does not get measured will not improve.
Nope.
John LaHan has nothing to do with sports. He wrote a book in 1980s. No one will go read it. Selling Retail. Go read it. It's a great book. It applies to cars, to whatever you sell.
Do you have that one right back here too?
I need to have that in here. Here's why I don't. I'm going to write that down too. Here's why I don't. Because John LaHan personally is an ass.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. He was an ass. So I went to Tupelo. No, not Tupelo. I went to Ohio. Somewhere in Ohio. Tupelo. Or was it Cincinnati? What's in Cincinnati? It was outside. Anyways, it wasn't Tupelo. It wasn't, because that's Mississippi.
Right.
So it was in Ohio. Toledo. Okay, there it is. Woo, there's a T.
Okay.
So it's Toledo. Woohoo. I mean, that's where he's based, and big deal. I mean, Toledo's not a big town. So I walked from the hotel to the to go get something to eat and walk back to the hotel because I am on a 3-day, okay, big boy. No, it was 2 days. Might have been 2. 2-day. There's like 20 of us. We paid big money. Me and Bill Spiegel was there, and that's the only other person I knew. And there was these other people that flew in, and we came in from Florida, and we stayed up, and not a real fancy hotel, but decent hotel. So I walk, and I got harassed by gangsters coming back from my food. So I made it back to the hotel without my food, and that's when I learned about a Give and Go wallet.
What's a Give and Go wallet?
It's a fake wallet, Dave.
Really?
Yeah. Any credit cards that you ever have destroyed or lost and you finally found,
Right.
save them all.
Just put them in a fake wallet.
Get a nice wallet. I have a nice leather wallet. Matter of fact, they called me with this van. Amazon, what the heck are y'all doing? Amazon, yeah, put them boys in there. Let me tell you, Mr. Amazon, great van, right? That's a big boy.
Yes.
So we got this new Amazon van, right? It's 2024, get more stuff, more. I like that.
It just takes
Growing.
a lot longer to get it where it's going
No,
right
it
now.
won't, Dave. So there's a governor on it. And so I'm pegged at 69. Well, I can't make it to Texas and Louisiana and, and North Carolina and Tennessee.
You see a lot less red lights behind you, though.
No, they're going to pull me over for going too slow and causing wrecks. There's no way those guys have a governor at 68, 69 miles an hour. But for some reason, you can't just turn it off like you can like we did on the first one. You can go in there and
go into the internal computer and just.
You can even just do it right on the screen.
Yeah.
You can't do it on the screen. When you set it to 77, I would live with that. When you set it to 77, it pegs it to 40. So Amazon has done something from the factory to make it where you can't. I mean, I sat it at a local Dodge place. I just sat there for a day and a half. They said they were going to get it done, and they haven't. And if they don't pay me back my money in a second, it's no big deal. You just dispute the charges. But they were really rude.
Were they?
Yeah. It was funny. You pull into a bay. This just helps me with customer service. And if anybody gets this out of anything, it doesn't matter. It reminds me. I'm pulling into the bay. It's early morning. I get there early, right? It's early morning. And they you go inside, there's 3 big bays, and it's sort of like a oil change bays.
Right.
So, except this can hold 3 cars underneath, and there's 3 different stand-up with computers, and you pull up to the most recent, and they're standing right there. What are you here for? And they take your keys and put the little mat on and drive it off, and put the little sticker in the window so you get it serviced or oil changed or whatever you're there for. So we'd already called, and this was about the governor. And so I pull up. Well, I pull around the corner, and I'm looking, and this one's got 3 cars in it. This one has 2 cars in it. This one has none. Well, I don't really see. Well, I see one guy, and the other 2 are empty. And so no one's looking at me. No one's like, come in.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just sort of start hedging in a little bit. Like, am I going in the wrong? I mean, there's no rope.
Right.
No don't come. But there's no come either. So I don't know what to do. So I'm sort of like just edging in, and I get up to, I'm like going like a half a mile an hour, and I get up into the bay where all of a sudden the sun's out and you're into the shade, and God didn't even look at me. He's got his computer, and he's on his, he's not, this one isn't even on his phone. He's just on his computer. He just sort of sits there, and it's cold, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's early morning. This one's just irritated, right? So I just keep edging and I'm like, as I'm edging, I'm like,
looking.
he hasn't looked at me, so I just keep going. So now I look at the next spot, and there's a guy there on a phone, right? And I pull up to him, and I just sort of, and I'm like, so he's in front of me, right? He's like 45 degrees in front of me, and I'm pulling up, and then them Dodge big old vans, you got a big old windshield. And I mean, here I come, right? It's 158 foot, man. You can't miss me. So I'm like 158 inches,
right?
Not 158 foot. My gosh. Anyways, so I start pulling up, and I'm eyeballing him, and he's on the phone. As I get closer, my window's down. As I get closer, he is arguing with the customer about payment, and it seems pretty legit, to be honest with you. I think the guy's pretty polite about it, to be honest with you. For what they'd been holding the guy's car, and the guy didn't want him to have to pay any money after like 2 weeks of the car, sort of what I heard, and I didn't want to hear anymore. Do I go up? I don't know, Dave.
Right.
So I'm like, here, and so I sit. It is probably 2 or 3 minutes
Just sitting there.
Yep. Nope. He was closest to the next door. And I pulled up. He was the last one I pulled up. And the third one was empty. Then after I pulled up, there was a woman that came in and sat down there, and I could see her in my mirror. The guy's not looking at me. Nah, I got to back up because this bullshit. He was the second to last because he finally was on the phone. He was like, all he did was wave me forward rudely. He was just like, I was like, is this where I need to be? He's like, go forward. So I pulled up. Well, there's nobody at this one. And now I'm looking in the mirror, and the woman is now 3 behind. Right. So the guy I can still hear. He's arguing. And there's other guys just sitting at the bays, just sitting on their computer, and they're doing work, I guess. I don't know. Nobody's talked to me. And the woman, I see her, and she sort of halfway turns and doesn't, and then turns and finally comes and, have you helped her? Have you helped this gentleman? And I see her in the mirror, and I was like, no. And she finally came up, and they did nothing. So that was, I mean, they kept my van for a day and a half. Now, do you think I would ever go back and service my vehicle there, buy a vehicle there? I just bought 3 vehicles, and this is not flexing or anything. This was something that had to be done recently. My daughter's in college. She's got a car with 97,000 miles. I had a V6 Chevy. Sucks. Without using a lot of curse words, that was sucks.
You didn't like that truck from the day you got it.
Told you I wouldn't keep it long. I was upside down in that bad boy.
Yeah.
And got out of it. I mean, that's how bad I disliked that vehicle. Yeah.
It was pretty, but you didn't like it.
I don't care. What does it matter if you turn right and push the gas and cars are coming on Blanding and it don't go?
True.
And then you look at your gas miles, you can at least look at everybody, oh, yeah, well, I get 30 miles a gallon. Well, no, you're getting what I was getting in a V8 Tundra. And I'm a Tundra guy. Once they change it back from the feminine, non-masculine Tundra that it is today. I said it. I said it out loud. It's documented. I've made it very clear.
Your old Tundras used to fly.
Allegedly, Dave. Allegedly, they would fly.
They would move.
Allegedly. We have heard that they would get up and go.
Come on, you hit the gas on that red one you had.
It would snap your neck.
Yes.
Yeah, not on purpose.
No.
But somebody had torqued that, I guess. I'm not.
But if you don't know how to touch that gas pedal right,
I'm not an engine.
You were jerking yourself backwards.
Oh, yeah. No, it took. And the white one, too. And then I just couldn't do the new Tundra. And that's what began the journey.
The white one was great. You just spilled way too many cups of water into that dashboard.
That thing survived. Bubba. I have not found Bubba since we've moved.
Really?
No. Mm-hmm. I'm going to find that video of where I ran and left Bubba at Avonlea. And I went back searching for Bubba. And I'm in there hollering for Bubba. And people think I'm looking for a person. And I finally found Bubba. And I come walking back out holding Bubba. That, I've traveled a lot on my own for a lot of years. And so I've had to learn to be my own entertainment at times. And I thoroughly enjoyed that moment. I live on that moment sometimes.
That's funny.
Yeah, it was sort of cute. And we found Bubba. But Bubba, I didn't like the top. Yeah, so he spilled. But that's not what killed that truck. So I am now truckless for the first time since my wife and I were married. So that's 26 years. So that won't last long. But we have bought 3 vehicles. Imagine if that guy, and that was, well, we had bought 1 vehicle and was getting a service there. Imagine if that guy had been polite.
Yeah.
Maybe we go back. I remember that. And I don't say that to like pick on them. I say that for me. And that's what I love about Banana Ball. That's what I love about Jesse, the owner. I know that, that I'm certain he's not a perfect guy. But the vision he has
is amazing.
Well, and you can chuckle at an antique mall that has unfinished, that has a bridal, but you can chuckle all you want as the doers keep doing. And you keep going, oh, he's a fraud. He's oh yeah, well, he's a jerk. I'm not here to be your friend.
Nope. It's business.
It's business. But there's also a respect in business that is lost. You know,
Very much so.
I mean, whether it be, I got called by a roofer locally in my roofing business, and it was like 6:45, and he was like, "You can't run that ad the way you run those ads." I have attorneys involved. I was like, "Yeah, I can." Because I run everything through, the legal teams, and that's why you have legal, advice. I don't know everything. I'm a bozo, so I have people that guide me, when I don't know. And he called me, and I remember my final response to him was, "Listen, if you want me to come and train your guys on how to sell roofs," I said, "I'll be more than happy to, but you're gonna have to call me during regular working hours."
That's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, well.
He didn't think so.
No, he doesn't. I don't think he does to this day. So, but that's okay. That was a fun time. That was a miracle moments right there. To be sitting there at 44. I'm 54 now.
Mm-hmm.
To be sitting there at 44, having lost everything due to no fault of your own, and you're going.
Still baffles me that it was 10 years ago that we had to move stores on the other side of town.
Within 2.5 days.
Yep.
That was a Books a Million battle. We've already told that story.
Oh, yeah.
So I'll find out what, and that's why I need to start doing links. I'll find out what episode that was that I told the story on, and they can go back, or I'll make it a short one day. Because that was a dynamic, God-led moment. That was not a Brett moment. That was he doing for me what I could not do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
And you were sitting right there and watched it. There was miracles happening. There was no way that I should have been able to defeat Books a Million the way that happened. That was a miracle. He blinded them.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. You keep despising, keep hating, keep letting that into your upper chamber in your brain. And I think that's where the Bible talks about, you'll heap coils of fire or whatever on their heads. It's not like you're throwing coals on them. It's that they're really doing it to themselves. Old timers say it a lot more simple. They say hating someone is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die.
That's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I was like, so every time I ever have that little, I always think about that. I'm just drinking poison. That, and I'm letting them in my upper chamber, and I refuse. And it is revolutionized. And so then to go from there, just see the miracles that happen in roofing that then led to the booths and the store and the wood you being able to move and hanging on, Julian Creek, and because corporate wood you at that time, which I never owned, was had gone away and to 2 years to people that are driving by stores,
right.
It's nothing. Like this store is an infant.
Yeah.
So that's why they say that sleep, creep, leap. Year 1, 2, 3.
We're in year 3.
Yeah, we're only in episode 10 here. They said that 75%, or it might even be higher. Look on your phone. How many podcasts last 1 year? I'm starting to put new goals up. Let's put them out on the episode. I mean, obviously we're at 44 followers, so I gotta have new goals. So 50 is obviously one, because then we can do the live feeds, I believe, or we might even be able to do that now. As long as it'll record the same, I would love to do live. Because then people can actually comment while you're speaking. Like, Brett, you're an idiot. They wouldn't say that, would they, Dave?
No. Right now there's an active 3 million podcasts. It says it varies greatly depending on the podcast schedule.
Yeah, but there was a number. I saw it the other day. You know what? I have a phone too, Dave. I can do it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
it says there's 3 million active podcasts, but it's not telling me how many last for a year.
Did you type that in?
Yes.
Okay. Who cares? Next.
There's a
Jamie.
50% chance that your podcast is going to pod fade within a year.
Whoa. Who cares? If you keep doing your thing and you're chasing your dream, who cares?
Pod fade.
Pod fade. Look at that. That's like an industry term we know nothing about.
Yep.
You know why? Because we're not going to pod fade. I don't fade.
No, we'll keep going.
Or we nosedive. There's no fading. That's all in, baby.
Yeah.
It's the grind.
Yeah.
How do you fade in a grind? Then you don't.
You don't. You either make it or you don't.
You make it. That's what the grind's about. There is no stopping. You hate if you want, love if you want. You grind.
Yep.
You find your people. And everybody's people can be different. And that's okay. As long as we all find a common ground of respect. Let me write that one down. Respect. All of our guests have been really respectful. I haven't had any good arguments.
No, you really haven't pushed anybody either.
There's been nothing to really push.
Mm-mm. You brought people on pretty much and let people just tell their stories at this point.
Because they were being authentically raw in whatever they were talking about.
Oh, without
and that's
doubt.
all I cared about. I don't even care which direction it goes in. You know, I think the one that if there was one I could have pushed, it would have been. I mean, if we're going to really talk about it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We should have some music. I could have pushed the power meditation a little deeper.
Yeah.
Definitely not Jamie, which I'll get to
Jamie
him.
Smith.
Yeah, I'll get to him in a minute. You can't blow this up, and my eyes don't work. Here it is. Matt Trish. Sorry, I don't know why.
Okay.
Names tonight are just not my thing. I think I could have pushed Matt a little deeper. I think there's some more wounds there to be healed.
I will completely agree with you on that one.
But I get to heal with him, and that's hard for guys like me to understand. You know, it takes a lot of men for me, for this bozo. It takes a lot of men in my life that'll hold me accountable to really know if I'm on track. I can often not know I'm on track. I mean, dadgum, I brought Trick Daddy in to town. I didn't know who he was. I mean, I knew of him, but I didn't know who he was. You know, I got with those knuckleheads. I'm not calling Trick Daddy knucklehead. I'm saying those knuckleheads that we all brought Trick Daddy in together. I had this great idea because what would have been great, and they missed it. What would have been great with that whole festival we did, which was Orange Crush. It was a gangster that started in Atlanta with Mikey, and they bring it down into Florida. I got into lawn care with the dad of a gentleman who was downtrodden, and I bought some BS. I would have been sharpening my pencil. But I also did some litmus tests that were passed. You know, monies were paid back. And so then I got in deeper. It was a good hustle. Got my money back, though. But that took a long time. Had to repo the car. Bro, I should have had a camera follow me. I mean, they were diving in the car, getting drugs out of the car while it's getting jacked up. The cops sitting there. I come pulling up. They got the front. I'm gonna be very careful what I say here. Let me think for a second. They have their front where it's like a place you can get something to eat, drink, and be gone. And then they got this after hours club, and so they've jacked this car up in the corner, and they're calling me on the phone because I couldn't be seen. It was my white Tundra, and it was pretty spottable, and they knew it, and I couldn't be seen until it was jacked up. And so I'd called the cops. We almost had them the day before. I'm trying to repo this car because all I did was co-sign to help this man get a car. You know, my license was getting suspended because he wasn't paying his insurance.
Right.
And so I called him. This was after we broke up. And man, I hadn't gotten all my money back, and I was sort of being chill about it, you know, because I was trying to figure out how to do this amicably. And I didn't have the right answers at that moment. So I paused. That's what I was taught. And it works really well. I didn't do it in my youth. If I did, I'd be in a better spot. But today I have it. And it's a really cool skill. So I paused, and I was waiting on it. So finally we get this truck, and these two boys call me, And they're like, you better get over here. I got 3 guys. They were climbing on the truck. I mean, they all came out. And as I'm walking by, I made sure to stay on the sidewalk. I didn't walk in the street away from them. I walked on. I'm not because I'm Billy, but I mean, I'm trying to get my vehicle back. Now you're getting to be a jerk. And so as I'm walking back, I'll be seeing you. I never saw him. Still haven't seen him. Won't see him. If he ever was going to do anything, he going to send somebody else because that's what you do. There's no doing your own work anymore. And you're still considered tough. I'm done with that.
So now when they were getting all the drugs and everything, cops couldn't do anything?
The cops weren't there yet.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Cops pull up. I wasn't there yet. I'm pulling up as I'm seeing the bag go in. And the car is up. Well, one of his youngsters had jumped. When I say youngsters, 6'7", 6'6", big old boy, jumped in the car because they had this idea, like you see on TV.
If they're in the car, they can't take it.
Well, and I think if it's not lifted, I think that's accurate. I don't know. I'm not a tow truck guy. These guys knew their stuff, but they had their windows up, and they were not quite as excited to do what we were doing as they had appeared the last day and a half we were chasing these boys. When it got real and everybody's climbing on their truck, he had a 45 in his car. Mm-hmm. He had every right. You know, I'd have been blasting through the hitting the gas.
Oh, without a doubt, I would have been hitting the gas.
In fear of my life, and that's not making up. I got men on my truck, and they're trying to hurt me. Mm-mm. But anyways, he didn't. He stayed. So he knows his business better than me. I'd have to get an attorney, fighting for murder charges probably. So so I get there and I come walking around and I come around. Well, there's a young man was sitting in the car, and I turn around. Now the policeman has now made his way around. Now the reason we missed him this first day is we were waiting on the police. They got a lot going on, and this was not Clay County. This was Duval. They got a lot going on. So, I mean, how many thefts do they deal with, And, oh, yeah, that car's there. But I'm sitting there looking at it, talking to dispatch, the non-emergency, going, listen, it's here, it's here. By the time they showed up, I wasn't going in by myself.
Right.
Because this was a really secluded area where that house was. And so I couldn't go in that day. So I watched them drive off. So the next day, we found them again. Well, I was following him. I have video of me following him, off of Lane? No, not Lane. Whatever it is. Wasn't Normandy. Somewhere around Timuquana.
Right.
Normandy. Who knows, man? They're all over. They're all over Jackson, downtown, east side, whatever. But I have video of me following him, and I finally turned left while he's going straight. I'll be seeing you. And it was like the next day we finally... because I'd been keeping tabs where he was, and we finally got him in that corner and everything. So they grab the bag, they go in there. So the guy's sitting in there. I turn around. I look at the policeman. I said, "Is there nothing you're going to do about this?" I'm still calm and cool because it's only me, man. I'm not looking, and the police is there, so at least one.
Right.
So, I don't figure they're going to do much and nothing right then. He goes, "Sir, it's a civil issue, like you see them always say." And I said, "So there's nothing you can do for or against me, correct?" And he had this little smirk. He goes, "No, sir." I said, "Awesome." So I turned around and I start talking to this young man. I lean down and I'm pushing buttons. And he starts calling me. He's telling me not to call him. And there was no derogatory comments. I run in the circles. So I don't see it that way. Even if you're a scoundrel, low class butthead, you're just a butthead. So he was looking to make it a racial thing.
Right.
But I've been there before, and I've seen this before. And so what I said was man to man. And he said he wasn't getting out of that car. Well, finally, it got so loud, the policeman got involved. And he got out, and off we went. And then I sent a certain gentleman a couple videos of me changing the tires out and giving it to my son and sending it to Michigan and driving it back. And, I've had fun with that.
That's awesome.
So, well, you know what? Snakes are snakes, man. And there's enough people in this world that are scared, and this ain't no tough guy. You've been around me a long time. You know, I know who I am. I'm just a dude that cares,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a dude that's curious. You know, if you want to pick a Bible guy, I like Peter, because I mean he loved the Lord, but he was a bozo too. We good?
Yep.
Okay, but he was a bozo too at times, and that's been me in my life in certain times, and a lot of our guests, and I think Matt and I walk a certain path, and I don't think I got all that open.
No, there was still a lot to Matt's story.
Yeah, I think the best way is to segment him, and I think I mentioned that in his episode, which has not gotten nearly the views that it deserves.
No, not at all.
It will in time. Watch. There'll be some broken and some wounded that need encouragement, that need to really hear somebody that's in a darker space as he's succeeding and finding light. I mean, he's not all the way out.
No, because it's still new for him. It's only been like 4 years.
There was tears.
Oh, yeah.
And this isn't, there was tears. The only thing I ever tell guests is this is not a gotcha. This is not a gotcha show. I'm not here. I want to have some of the people that dislike me on here. I mean, that really dislike me. I'd love to be sitting with them, not to gotcha, not to argue, not to have a Jerry Springer moment, to find out exactly how many similarities we really have. And it infuriates people that have to live on hate as fuel.
True.
It takes all the power away.
Yeah.
You can't make me hate you. That doesn't mean I can't hate you, but you can't make me.
You're not going to be the reason.
No, you could even be the reason, but I got to allow you to have that
Much control.
action I have to allow it to have an impact in my life, which means I have to value your opinion to let it have impact in me.
Sure.
And if I think you're a low character female or male, and I know a couple of both,
Very much so.
you don't impact me because I know who you are. No matter how many sweet people you surround yourself with, I can still love those people and know who you are. I can still love you and know who you are. I can't love you like go sit down and have dinner with you, maybe.
Right.
But that's been a pretty cool lesson. And I think actually I can't wait to get Mel Seibold on here. No, not many people are going to know him.
Now, who is he?
He's not like a well-known guest of he's just a dude who has gone from rage to calmness in ways that I'm not sure I even understand right now. And it's pretty interesting. I've known just talking with him, I've known his journey over a long period of time. And he's going through changes today. And we'll see. He's due up.
Okay.
Here shortly. I haven't locked in an exact date because in January he's traveling till I believe 22nd. So next week we have Jeff Imperial that I'm excited about. All right, back to. Let me see who else I have not talked about. Covered Matt. Oh, okay. Let's talk about Sparkle Feathers. That was pretty wild. I would call it
That was the most.
off the wall.
Yeah, I was going to say most interesting. Not interesting as.
It was interesting
It
because
was interesting, but.
I'm interested in authors, especially local authors. I'm interested in children. I love helping children. I love anything that is to do to grow a child's emotional strength and all that. And that's what, I mean, she has it's a kid's confidence class.
I believe so.
No, it's not a class. It's a kid's confidence group of some sort. So our next visit with her should be as Sparkle Feathers.
That's what she said. She would come. Sparkle Feathers would be here.
That's what she said,
Yep.
which means that I'm not necessarily talking to Miss Julene.
No, we're going to be talking to Sparkle Feathers.
I'll be talking to Sparkle Feathers. Is that going a little Jerry Springerish? I don't think so.
I don't think so because
This is interesting.
That's truly what she is with
She
her
and
books.
right, because you and I both watched videos since the episode,
Yes.
and we've shared videos as well. I mean, she is deep into that book that she wrote.
Very.
From the scar on the lip, that is in the book, and it'll be interesting to see. The other interesting part is, and we didn't get in this. This will be probably something I could have pushed a little bit more. Is she doesn't have children, so where do you learn? But I guess a child is a child is a child, and she was a child at one time, and so you know what your journey is. I certainly know mine.
Yeah.
And I've shared some of it on here, but I certainly know. I know a lot of my youth had impact as who I am as an adult. Heck, that's why you can pick out who a middle child is.
Yeah,
they're so easy. I don't know. That
no, but when she comes back, that's going to be
Sparkle Feathers.
that'll be an interesting one.
Now that the book's out, I wouldn't mind having a book reading with it as well. Oh my gosh. Let me tell you, one of them that's going to come back is Marianne
Yes.
Phillips. What a daggum story. Are you
How
kidding me?
early her life went into disarray was crazy.
Losing her, losing her husband to addiction.
Yeah.
What was she in addiction during that time? I think she
I
was.
think-
Or was no,
I think she was just
coming
drinking.
out. Well, that's addiction for us.
Yeah.
So I don't know. No, I do know. Yeah, because she had two journeys.
Yeah.
Because she had the one there was a relapse in there as well that lasted for a while. But now she has strong, vibrant young men who have their own, set of issues in
She's
life.
got a good career, right?
Great career. She's a BOSS. I'm not talking about like somebody sits in a fancy office. And I don't know a lot about her business, but she is absolutely kind of employee that is a doer. And,
I could definitely see that.
Yeah, and she's not afraid to speak directly and speak clearly. And she's not afraid to walk the path alone. She goes to concerts by herself. She makes trips on her own. I envy that a little bit. She and I were set up to go to a country concert, and we just never. I bought a shirt because me and concerts.
You were going to buy boots?
Yeah, I might have been able to get away without boots. Today's. You know what's so funny is, my family's in Spruce Pine, North Carolina, and I got to dress like I'm country. Country's just country. We say Jaguars. We say heels and pills, and we say Dale Earnhardt. Dale Earnhardt. Not, how do you say it?
Dale.
Okay, this is going to be Dale.
There you go.
You say it.
Dale.
Dale.
Right.
Dale.
Yours comes out a little bit like the computer.
Dale. I can't hear it. Dale.
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 Dale. Dale. Yeah. I'm with that. You say it one more time.
Dale. Oh my
Can't
God.
get it. We sat there with my sister for an hour, man. Listen, I just say, and that's why Jaybird is not named Dale.
No, you told me that story.
Because of how I say it. And I had no idea. Because I would have head faked my wife and said Dale until he was born. Then I said, Dale.
Dale.
What?
Yeah.
So, I love his name. But, Dale Earnhardt Jr. Come on. Okay. Marion Phillips.
Yeah, that was a great episode.
The Kingpin I knew nothing about. If you have not watched that episode, go watch the episode of Marion Phillips. It won't read Marion Phillips up front. I've started changing the names a little bit, and they're getting better watch views. Single mom marries Kingpin's son. Yeah. It is a kingpin son who overdoses,
She said a lot of
kids,
stuff
drug,
on there.
alcoholism, and coming out the other side.
That's a very true title.
Well, the real cool thing is I do happen to know of her life. We're not hang out every day, but I have been around her many times, and I know her to be a prudent woman and a powerful speaker and a powerful person. I like people that walk the walk.
And she does.
She walks the walk. If she's pissed, you're going to know it. If she's happy, you're going to know it. And I think that vulnerability is growth for people like she and I. And I learned a lot watching her episode, hers and Matt's.
Mm-hmm.
I like me, I watch them, many times. For multiple reasons, and to learn and grow as an interviewer and how to get more out of the episode and for me. And I think in doing that, I think you find the Bretts of the world and the Marions of the world and the Matts of the world that will find intrigue in this.
Yeah.
And if not, if it pod fades,
Yeah.
I'm not speaking that.
No.
We're not talking about ifs. It won't. I can't even think like that.
Yeah, and then you might as well not even do it.
Well, I mean, it's not like it's going to cost me anything more than what I have.
True.
I mean, we got pimped out equipment.
Yeah.
All we got to do is take this and attach all the
It's
walling
going to
into
cost
the
us
house.
a couple more wires.
And then we'll just go into the house. What's up, Don?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! And then if we lose everything, let's say we lose the house, then we'd have a shed, and still we still can do it.
Without a doubt. We could do it on the back patio.
We'll just get a van.
Sitting on the pool deck.
No, we'll do the whole podcast out of a van. It'll be a run because then
mobile.
because I've already thought about this. I would not be the first to do this, but I think one of the guys who do all this stupid stuff. I have all the movies.
Jackass?
Yes.
Okay.
One of them has a rolling van. He's now sober for like.
Bam Margera?
No,
or
not
Steve-O?
him. Steve-O. Steve-O has a van. He has a podcast. It's a really good podcast. I don't think he's a great interviewer, and I think he does way too much advertising. Like he stops it, and if you love,
Right.
then you'll. And he's holding the product up, and you really got to try these pills, and now they were, and you can see his eyes reading off. Man, that's not authentic,
Right.
For me, but he's making money, and so God bless him. I would just get Coca-Cola to sponsor me and have it sitting in the back. That's the best you're going to get. and then it'll say they sponsor us.
Yep.
But I'll never be controlled. You can have the money. If there was money that ever came, that'll be fun to test.
Yeah.
Would you call bullshit on that? You think I'd bow to it?
I don't know. It depends if you need the money to advance it.
Would I do advertisement? I don't know. It depends on what advertisement. Would I wear a Coca-Cola hat and talk?
Yeah.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Have a Coke cans in there? Yeah. So you start running stupid things or get stupid, I'm still would talk about you. But we don't really get political in here.
No.
Not yet, anyways.
No.
I'm Irish.
You'll be all right, though, because Dr. Pepper's a Coke product, so you're all right.
It is?
Or is it Pepsi?
It's a Pepsi product.
Mr. Pibb's a Coke.
Pib Extra is a Coke product, and it's inferior. Let me tell you something. The same way I knew I was a connoisseur of Patron back in the day.
Dr. Pepper.
Oh, that's been in the bottle too long. I can tell you right now, the best fizz is out of a 12-ounce can. Try it.
Yeah.
Try it. Go get you an 18-ounce can, drink out of it, get you a 12-ounce can, which now in the gas station, a 12-ounce can is $1, what, 99, 69? Or is it $2.40?
At least $1.59 to $1.99.
The bottles are $2.89, $3.19. A little thing of M&Ms, which is horrible for you.
Like $3 now.
It's ridiculous.
Yep.
Bubble gum. I used to always grab gum.
Gum or Snickers, you're looking at like $4 now.
No, that round gum that I like.
Oh, it's like $7.
Yeah, no, you're in between. It was $4.99. It was $5.
Really?
$5 for 42 pieces. So here I am doing the math. I'm like, that's over $1 a little square. So I found another piece of gum that you only need the little ones, and it's like $1.69. Start looking online. That's why that whole thing's going to be good. So Marion, she's going to be good.
Yeah, she'll be one of the good ones to bring back here and there.
Yeah. Well, and I think she wants to clarify some things as well, and wants to point out a lot of the power as well. I think we spent a lot of time on the excitement of her story, the kingpin and the this and the that and the family and the that. And I know I've heard more of her story, and there's more about the power of and the way she loves her family. They're always in the conversation when she speaks with me. And this is for years. I mean, I still have the text.
Right.
So this isn't like, call me on BS. I'll print you out the text where, it's a positive vibe. And so she and I have talked since, and she's requested to come back on and go deeper.
That's awesome.
She has some other ideas that, that she wants to talk about, another angle, and this is what this thing's about.
Right.
Because if she's growing and learning and covering other spots, I get to learn more.
That's what you wanted it to be.
Yeah. It's so cool, man. This thing is just.
She wanted to come back, and I know we'll get to him, but Taj wanted to come back, and he'd be another one.
Oh, okay. No, we'll just go. We don't have to go in order. Taj, he's like a. I just have him on just to look. He's like an all-star communicator.
Yeah. As
a dude.
Yep.
As an African-American man growing up, what a story. I mean, he was very clear. He didn't grow up in the ghetto. His parents did. But he didn't grow up in the ghetto. He grew up in right outside the ghetto.
Yep. I forget how he put it.
But I liked what he said. I mean, there was so many similarities in I didn't have to be the toughest guy. I just had to be able to hang with you. And if it wasn't you, then it was you, and it was you. It was
right.
It was acceptance, and that part I missed. As I rewatched that interview, I didn't stop enough to pay homage to acceptance, and I think that's a powerful tool that once he comes back, I think we're going to spend some time on, because, this man was raped.
Yeah, as a child,
and
by
yet,
a babysitter.
Yeah, he's a guy, and he's getting raped.
And
I can remember
no one ever talked about that.
Oh my gosh, the idea of me getting, to a dude, we think, you think they're cool.
Yeah.
And he went through the same. This thing is bugging me. Can you tell? And he went through the same pains that a female goes through that has been raped. And it never even crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But I never have heard of that youth. He was 7?
No, I think he says 4 or 5.
I think 5. I was trying to be a little high. If ever I want to be wrong, I want to be a little shallow.
I think he said 4 or 5.
No, he said 5. He said 5. If you heard 4 and 5, it was 5. And so at 5 years old, I can't even imagine.
No.
And then your father, you can't go to your father. He's giving you a pound at 5.
Yeah.
And then the story of, okay, so, I met you because you were a bar manager, and I drank a lot of alcohol. I don't miss those days, by the way. But I can't ever think of a time where I had 2 beers and then I ended up in Mexico.
No.
What a
Not
story.
knowing how you got there.
Not knowing how I got there. Now, I've drank and drank and drank and drank.
And not knowing where you were.
But that was, you know what? It was that short stint of Xanax.
Yeah.
I was never a pill guy. I don't know pills. I don't even like aspirin. And so mine was drinking. I could drink a lot.
And it wasn't even you were taking the pills recreationally. You were taking them to calm down when you got agitated.
Yeah. Well, I didn't realize I had become, so I was drinking so much. I was, killing myself. So the Xanax is what led to the blackout. And I didn't realize that a Xanax, laugh for those of y'all that are very familiar and all you RNs and all you nurses, but to bozos like me who don't go and Google things, I now do. I should have after my brother. I'll get to that one day, or maybe a little bit later, because that was probably 20 years ago, where he almost died on Christmas Day taking a pill, taking a pill from my mother, and penicillin, and he just about died because he was allergic to penicillin and no one knew. So I should have learned from that. I did not. But my mind, who cared back then? I was selfish and self-centered, in a lot of ways at that time. So I don't even know if I knew if it would have made a difference. I know it helped me, and it really did at that time. Not when you put it with alcohol,
right?
But I had dealt with a panic attack. I mean, what you just mentioned, I'd gone through wars with Books A Million and hanging on to a business and trying to recreate a business. And I mean, it was a lot. And I was trying to do it through my own self-will at that time and grind. And, I had a higher power, but, I put him on a shelf when it was business time. That was that was my job, and what an idiot, the business today is just so much better than having to always be right. I love being able to be wrong. I've told everybody, I know you've probably heard me say it a million times, I give myself the right to change my mind as often as I like. Because people reveal themselves more and more. So we may be very tight in the beginning, and we may fade. We may be very, distant in the beginning, and we may tighten. It all depends on, what character sets and flaws, because we all got them.
Yeah.
We show. You and I have had tough conversations, both you to me and me to you, and
yeah.
But I think that's what it takes to grow and to learn.
Without a doubt.
So I can't wait to have Marion back on.
Yep.
I'll try to stay out of the Kingpin stuff, but I mean, come on.
You can't help but getting a little bit intrigued by it.
I mean, was it, hey, I'm going to offer you, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah. But she knew some people in town that could have got her in trouble back in the day.
Yeah, I jumped back on Marion and we were on
Taj.
That's why I gave it running. Because Marion's story just fascinates me.
It did, without a doubt.
But Taj, and the other thing I didn't get into Taj was I did not get into the Louisiana side. I want voodoo. I want to talk to him about voodoo. I've had some experiences, not like going and sitting with people,
right?
But being around that area. I was never a New Orleans. How do you say it?
New Orleans.
Okay, I bet you there's some Louisiana people.
Nolans.
There it is. Yeah, Nolans. How you say it again?
Nolans.
You are a Saints fan.
Yep.
You're all over. So you're like a Bulldogs fan. But that's because you and by the way, you're not a bandwagon jumper.
No.
I am not a fan of the Bulldogs. You know that.
Oh, yes.
Despise is an ugly word. We're not going to use that, but it's football. But you've earned your stripes. Back when they stunk, you still were red and black.
Think about how bad the Saints were back in the day when I rooted for them.
That's true. I earned my Gator stripes, and now my money's going to Florida. So I have finally earned my
have
well,
a tie.
my bride would have graduated from Florida, but she met me, and I mean, I was a redneck custodian, So we went to UNF. Because if she'd gone to Florida, I'd have lost her.
Yeah,
that cute. Shut up, Dave. She'd have stayed. Every day she would have been away from me. I would have been. Shut up, Dave. This is my story. Damn it. She would have been thinking of me. Okay, so that wouldn't have happened. She would have married a lawyer. She'd been driving around in a Beamer SUV right now.
There's lots of doctors running around UF.
Well, hang on. Well, she had an attorney that was very interested in her. But yeah, she'd have 2 kids. She wouldn't have 3. She'd be tan. She'd probably already have been to Europe. I mean, I picked well.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what she did wrong. She screwed up. Should we ever have her on here?
That's up to you.
That's an interesting topic. Because if she's going to sit down,
Oh, yeah. That meter's going to...
Yeah.
You're going to need a new
Well,
pencil.
no, Dave, you're going to get slapped. No, not at all. What I was thinking was, Dave, was we would need 2 of these. One would have to sit over there because I'd be talking so much BS.
She'd be
she
hitting
would
it too.
I was going to say she
Maybe
would have a
she'd
short
want to use
pencil.
a
Now
new
that
pencil.
I would agree with. That. Listen, she's a powerful soul, and I'm very fortunate. There are a few that would stand. It takes a certain individual to stand with a dude that, you know, sleeps 3 hours a night.
Yeah.
Well, put your phone on silent, Dave. I have things to say. You know, if and when
I'm just glad I don't have problems falling back asleep.
That's true. But if it was on, well, you keep it open for your son.
Yeah.
Which I get to a certain degree. I get. Yeah, my son's. I mean, when my phone rings, I'm up.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't have mine on silent, and then I have a couple other friends that are night owls. Actually, I have quite a few. I guess birds of a feather flock together.
I mean, you could text quite a few people and you're getting responses at 4 a.m.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Of course, I'm getting up at 4:30.
I know. That's crazy. I'm usually falling asleep at 4:30.
Yeah. So like last night I went to bed at 1:30 and then I woke up at 4:30 and I don't know. I just don't. Now I'll catch a power nap every now and then. I'm telling you, there is something to power naps. I don't have any scientific. I want a scientist. We need a go-to scientist, Dave. Find us one.
All right.
It's got to be somebody local. A doctor. I'll find a local doctor.
All right.
Not my weed doctor.
No.
You got to listen to him talk about Florida and everything. I love the guy. But, you know, actually, I did think about him for a podcast. But, I mean, that man played college ball, pro ball. Yeah, he played for Florida.
Football?
Yeah. Yeah, I want to say he was a defensive lineman. That boy's still jacked. He does men's, what do you do when you're like replacement therapy or whatever? It's basically testosterone. They just give guys testosterone.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, you can go get jacked. All these cops, they're all, okay, not all, but I mean, I went to testosterone replacement. My doctor told me to go. My testosterone was really low. And so I went and I'm sitting in there and there's all these jacked up guys that had the cop twitch. You know, I'm like, what is going on? There was, you know, so I get with, and this was not this doctor. This was the first guy I went to, and it was on Kingsley right there. And I went and he wants to give you shots. And so I went for like 2 months and I'm looking at these bills and I don't really feel any different, you know, and I don't feel, you know, this, that, and mine was eating habits, you know, and that's really, once I cleaned up my eating habits and I started my breathing and my cold showers and cold plunges and exercise.
You still getting in the pool every day?
Not every day, no. But if you get in knee deep and stand out there in the cold, you'll begin to shiver.
Oh, without doubt.
That I do every day. And then I stretch a lot. Because if you talk to, I love talking to older people, and we're going to get more and more older people on here, not to make it a boring show, because there are some, I know some fabulous people that are in their 75, 80s. Miss Becky knows some as well. And we'll get to talking about her and her podcast, her episode as well here in a minute. But stretching, because mobility, when you quit moving, you die.
Yep.
Anything, whether it be creatures, animals, you got to keep them moving.
Oh, yeah.
And so I focus a lot on stretching. And I got that from a lot of the older gentlemen that I hang out with. Because they go, if I had one more thing I wish, and I wish. And so I try to apply it before I say I wish. You've been through a lot, personally.
Yeah, the last 10 years have been rough.
Has it been 10 years now on this?
Phew, since I started my surgery on my feet, just over, because I was going through it back when we moved stores. That was 10 years ago.
So you've lost your leg up to your knee
On the left
on
side.
the left side, and you've lost all your feet, all your toes on the right side.
Now, that one still irks me because I've seen the surgeries I've had since the right foot, and I've had much worse things going on where my doctor did surgery and things were fine. I think it was the doctor just jumped to a conclusion before I found the doctor I have now, and they just decided to just do it.
Now you're going in for a stent, are you not?
Heart valve replacement.
Heart valve replacement. And is that because all the medicines you're on?
That is all genetics.
Really?
Yep. I've had a heart murmur my whole life. They've told me about.
So my dad
finally
did
to the
that.
point where I have to get it.
So you're getting it's a pacemaker.
No, it's a valve.
Oh, it's a
that lets
valve.
the blood come in and out.
Huh. Because I'd always thought your heart was a pump, but it's really just valves.
Right.
All it does is direct where the blood goes. It doesn't pump your blood. Your liver
Yes,
pumps your blood.
I believe so.
I believe it's either your liver or kidneys. Now I got to find out.
It's your liver.
Is it? I just want to make sure I don't say wrong. Let's see. Does your liver pump your blood? Liver. Well, whatever it is, it's not your heart. No, the liver does not pump blood, so it has to be the kidneys then.
Okay.
So, I'm not a doctor. Hey, that's why we need a doctor. I'd call him. Because, we have this plugged into this where I can call on my phone and we can actually call. I could have somebody on call while we're on in a couple different categories. How much fun would it be to call Jamie Smith?
That'd be awesome.
Just to sit here and like we're talking social media and you and I are arguing. But you argue quietly. They don't know you're arguing with me. I know you're arguing. Are you looking it up?
Each minute, about 1 liter of blood, 1/5 of all the blood pumped by the heart enters the kidneys.
Nope, kidneys don't pump either.
Nope, they filter.
Yeah. Now we're learning
Heart does
something.
pump.
Am I wrong? Is the heart a valve? How many people do you think are going, oh my gosh, this guy
He's
does
an
not. You know what I learned in college? There's a lot of people who have questions. Heart valve disease. I'm not going through all this. Okay, listen, if there's anybody watching that is smarter than me, which is probably all 3, 5, we might be up to 7. If I can just get enough people on here that like their show, then they'll watch,
Other ones.
5 minutes, 10 minutes. I got to do more and more shorts. I have all the banana ball shorts ready. I just got to upload them better. But I could call Jamie. It'd be fun to have Jamie sitting over here doing all the.
He's got so much going on, though.
He can bitch about it on the show.
True.
We could be like his weekly
Vent.
Yeah. He could just sit over there and hear the clink of the glass.
Drinking his wine.
Yeah, that's bullshit. He doesn't even talk like that.
Mm-mm.
He would be very kind.
Oh, I can never see
I like
him
his
being
TikToks.
upset.
No, I like his TikToks. He has a lot of fun with them. Are they going to do away with TikTok? That was the one that I thought was funny that Jamie did about TikTok, about just leaving it alone.
Yeah.
That was funny. I'll stalk you on TikTok, Jamie. And then you got the Ellises. Since we said Jamie, we'll just go to Jamie Ellis, who now is in one state park in Georgia. She is a jams, jellies, pickles, salsas.
And mercantile now.
And
She's
mercantile.
a lot more than just jams and jellies now. Doing soaps and loofahs and
She's growing her own loofahs.
yeah.
She's got so many loofahs, they're going to have a loofah bed. Greg's going to have to learn how to sleep on a loofah bed. Greg talked a lot, had a lot of good stories, a lot of business wisdom. Listening back to that,
Yeah.
I don't know that we opened up enough in Southern Grace Manor. Did we?
We talked about it, but we talked a lot about
God, they're funny.
how they started and the business, how he went up through the business with Nash and all the problems they've had with their health-wise, family-wise.
Yeah. And that's why I stayed on that, because it is about business and life. And Greg does he has a great story of growth in his company and the takeover, and then the bond between him and the owners, and that's rare.
Oh, very.
And especially in this day, and this man, he's got 20 plus years. I mean, there's loyalty when he speaks about him and his comrades. And they would have me running around chasing a board stretcher. That's some bull crap. And them fancy ass screws he has. We have a bit now that deals with his screws. I have a video. Watch this.
Is this the one you just made?
Yeah. No, it's not. It's nothing for public. This is just the idiot that I am. Where is Greg and them? I don't text them all the time, but yeah. So the shelves over at, this man builds multi-million-dollar, he's involved in multi-million-dollar construction, right? We're talking about big jobs that take years and years, Dallas and here and there and all over. And so the shelving, and they built this beautiful display for, I will tell you this, I'm going to stop just for a second before we get on this. What I respect about him is very few men are as loyal to their wives as the men that I've seen come through here. Even some that are gone, the Greenbaum, Mary and them. Travis. Yep. Just loyal as can be. But the one lady that was here for, me and names. If you've been here and you go.
I'm trying to think.
She did all the white custom and all that. Oh. But her furniture fell apart there for a second, and that's why I was like, it's got to stop. So her husband was so loyal. And I can't think of one that's still here. Even those that are gone, they all had husbands that were so.
Always her helping.
Yeah, but there was a lot of wars with them. But with these two, Greg he builds good stuff. So anyways, back to the story. I do respect him from day one. That's sort of what endeared me to them. Jamie's, she's beautiful and funny and makes a great product. Me and her apple butters. We have a special thing going on. I get up early morning where no one's around, and I toast that bread just right, and I get that butter. I've now gotten to where I heat it up and I dab it on.
Do you really?
Shut up, Dave. It's my morning, okay? And I have my one Dr. Pepper. It's my coffee. I don't drink all the Dr. Peppers anymore. Okay.
Bullshit.
Yep. I might have 2 or 3 now. I'm sort of gearing back up. We're going back to 1. I'm working hard at it.
Well, you'll open 2 or 3, but you don't drink them all.
Thank you, Dave. But I still need to sharpen the pencil, so we're okay. But you're right, I do. But it's to fight my mental of always used to.
Right.
But even in the can at Publix, they're $1 a can.
Yeah.
So I figure I'd rather waste the money than waste my health and the medical bills of what you've dealt with and diabetes. Because 1 can is 136% of your sugar for the day?
Pretty much. Dr. Pepper's a high one.
Yeah, it is. All right, where was
Not as bad as Mountain Dew, but it's high.
Okay, so Greg thought I was going to forget, but I didn't. That's why I keep my little handy-dandy pencil and pad. So over at another location where they're displaying Miss Jamie Ellis's beautiful products that are basically only found here in Clay County now. So the shelves are leaning because he's got some weight on there. And I thought the shelves would lean. I mentioned something, but, it's Greg. He builds big buildings. Uses fancy screws. I figured he'd know how to do it. Well, I shot a video of the space and sent it to the boss, Jamie, and I figured she would get with her underling, Greg, and would then, assess the situation and deliver it. Well, we still don't have it fixed yet.
Did you hear back from them or no?
Yeah, oh yeah. No, they're going to get on it. They'll get it fixed. But I did notice it was leaning, and it is leaning.
It is.
And I said, you're going to lose some product. And so they came back. Yeah, I'll get Greg on it. And so that means Greg would be coming back to fix an issue, of something that he built. So I put some gum in my mouth, which cost me $1 $1.25 just for that one piece of gum. And here's what came out. All right, let's see. Oh, wait, I got my voice.
I figured a guy with fancy screws would never have to go back a second time and fix something. But that's just me. Call me if you need me, Greg.
And I'm over obnoxiously chewing the gum like I'm some
funny.
construction guy. Oh my gosh. I can't build myself out of anything. It's sort of funny. Like growing up through Would You Distributors, which I did not own when I first started, I worked in the back, and all I did when you build, you were built for us before you started going through your physical. It got to where you didn't have to read anything. You just fly and build. We sell
without a doubt.
Yeah, because you sell so many chairs. You just
7 minutes now.
I had guys when we had the big corporation. I had guys that could build a chair. They didn't glue it because I'd have contests. They would build in under. I have a video of one that built in. I want to say under 2 minutes. It was Al Johnson's son.
Is that putting the screws together and everything?
Yes.
Or, wow.
Yeah, and I had everything laid out, but he didn't glue it. And you know me.
Oh yeah.
If you're buying from me, we're gonna glue it. It's gonna be with good glue, and it's gonna be clamped. It's gonna be done right. So I think the gluing would add quite a bit. But I bet you add another minute. If I taught him how to glue properly, he'd probably add another minute. So that means he's building a chair every 4 minutes.
That's pretty good.
We had guys down in Clearwater literally had stations. That's all he did was build chairs. And I mean, just nonstop build. He built chairs. He built cabinets. He built, assembled, not built, but assembled. And those were fun. Those were fun days. And then 2 owners got together and got to be boneheads. That'll be on a podcast one day. We'll talk about it. The fall of Would You Distributors. I'd love to have Al Johnson on here.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I met him once.
Yeah. He's a dynamic guy. I learned more than I wanted to admit back in that day from him. He taught me compassion. He taught me that you didn't have to bark all the time. I remember the first guy I trained. I had no business training. We'll get back to Tyler's and all them. I remember the first guy, Jamie and them. I remember the first guy I trained. We were big on the finishing, and getting the people to do it themselves. And we have the no-fault finishing guarantee, which still baffles people, and I'm done explaining it. We stand behind it. If you don't like it, you bring it back, and yes, it's an off-the-wall out there, and you can lose money if you don't know what you're doing. Absolutely, dive in. So, and it's been very successful for us because we got good products and we teach people.
Yeah.
So I was down there and I was trying to teach him because his sales in finishing products were very, very low. And I was trying to teach him how we did it. He just didn't want to listen. And so I remember calling Mr. B and I said, you just got to get rid of this guy. I said, he's no good. This guy's no good. I remember he goes, nope, that's what you got to work with. And that's what you're going to have to develop. And it has helped me. That started a journey at 26. I'm 54 now, so whatever, 40 years.
Yeah.
30 years. You see, my math is really good. We have accountants, Dave. Okay, I have chief financial officers. We're good. I don't have to do all that. I'm the other. Taj is a wealth of episodes.
Yes.
He's 4 episodes at least.
Yeah. You could just tell we could talk for hours with him.
Yeah, and it's not just jibber jabber. There is depth in what he has to say, and he has a lot of wisdoms.
Yes.
I found it fascinating that he said he didn't read books because when he came, that's why I don't like doing a ton of pre-interviewing and everything because I like my preconceived notions and I like them being burst. I have heard him speak, and we've got a whole episode of him, and he was very well spoken. Words were put together; they flowed nice. He bantered well, and so I would have thought he would have been well read and educated, as we say in Spruce Pine. And
you gotta give me a second.
Yeah, And I don't know that he was. Just hang him on there. And I don't know that he was. He was more of a wealth of wisdom through life experiences, and that was pretty cool for me. And so I have a lot more questions. And as Taj texted me, I think that's the only thing I sent to him before we sat down and talked. Is I said I have questions with a smiley face, and Taj says I have answers, and I found that true on his episode, which is our latest episode before this one. So if you have not liked, shared, and subscribed to this podcast, and you enjoy this, and you've made it this far in it, sort of why I say it a little bit further in is I like people that like to dig into it. And eventually we'll find the right people. Who is the other person? Hang on a second. So I got Taj, Savannah Bananas. Okay. Zach and Tanner. We talked about them. I mean, each one of them I want an episode with alone because I have different questions for different reasons. Tanner has been through some life experiences at an early age in high school and has worked through it and grown and then at Virginia Tech and playing in a major D1 college. And like he said, the way some of the ball fields are set up aren't built for certain swingers. And then the height of his days. Then I heard him when he said he was in the top 10 in the country in social media. And I don't know as a collegiate sport, as a collegiate athlete. And I don't know that I went deep enough into that because I think he has a wealth of information, especially being a party animal and having the followers that he has now and how to keep him entertained, it's not even really entertained, it's engaged. And I think being authentic is what I see is the key to much of this. If you have the authenticity to sit down here and be real and raw like Matt Trish was, with tears flowing, and nobody cries alone with me. So if he's going to cry, I teared up. So, and to not have all the answers and yet still be willing to express that. And then Tanner and the question he had, I want to get further into that about the toxicity of the fan base that in high school. Because I got some good stories. And that's not just from that drunk idiot. And the only reason he was ticked off is he was just drunk.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt.
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't hit him.
You were having fun playing with it.
Yeah, that's true. I do that, don't I?
Yeah.
But it's just weird how it finds you as a grown man.
You liked just antagonizing, watching him get more worked up.
He did get
worked up.
He did get riled up.
Oh,
it was
very
cute.
much so.
I mean, he's
looking at his friends like he was going to do something.
That was funny. Now, I will tell you, inside, there's still, the respect thing that I talked about so long ago, early on in this episode, it's gone in this world. I don't see it much. I don't see it in sports.
It's definitely a lot less prevalent than it used to be.
Was it even? I mean, yeah. I remember, and stop me if I talked about this on the show. I remember I was a kid. I had a 77 Lincoln 4-door, pimped out. I didn't pimp it out. It was just I bought it for $500. I was a kid, and but it had a V8, and so it would go. It'd guzzle gas. But I remember wheeling somebody's yard in the neighborhood.
You told me about that when we were driving through your neighborhood.
Yeah. Okay. And the older gentleman followed me home, and we had lived in a cul-de-sac. My parents were out of town. He followed me home, came up, and began to talk to me firmly. And I stopped. I didn't tell him to shut up or, this was the 80s. And I sat there. I mean, I was a butthead. I was a kid. I was a 16-year-old kid being a butthead. And he said, "Do you know that man that you just wheeled his house?" And I was like, "No, sir." And all of a sudden, "Sir" comes out. I'm like, "No, sir." And I wouldn't show much respect when I wheeled his yard. I just come over the edge, quote unquote, right around the corner. But it was purposeful. And he took my license. He asked for my license, and I gave it to him. And he began to tell me about that older gentleman that lived there. As I'm handing him my license, and put a face and a soul, a person to the idiot I was being at 16. and took my license and said, you can have your license back when you come up there and apologize to that gentleman for wheeling his yard and you fix it. And he had a shovel and he had the little pick thing and, you know, because I didn't like spin.
Right.
I just drove over it. And, I mean, it was bad.
Caused a rut.
Yeah. And I sat out there and dug it out. And that man was sitting in one of those, I'll never forget, one of those old pink and blue and white beach chairs that all the old timers were sitting. They were just sitting in their garage when I went by. And that guy got in his old Ford or Chevy. It was an old truck. And he followed me down, had the old hat, and it was like the bent corners.
Yep.
You know, just an old timer, a blue collar, hardworking Southside boy. And a little punk 16-year-old kid, you know, and who had been taught right, just being an idiot. And I went up there, fixed it, walked up there and apologized, got my license back, never did it again. To him, you know.
Yep.
There was a guy that was at University Christian, not University Christian, that's where I went, that went to Trinity. And I didn't like him, obviously, because we hated Trinity back then. I mean, that we were such big rivals. I don't think it's nowhere near that now, but and so I would wheel his yard. He was right at the corner. All of us University Christian
Everybody.
guys. Everybody would wheel his yard. So I'm not really sorry about that one. Is that bad?
No.
I will tell you this, though, what it does help me with, like when I lived out in Fleming, we had a big oak tree, and I remember it got rolled a couple times, and the boys were so mad, and I laughed because I rolled so many. I mean, we rolled some trees. If I knew what a pain in the butt, I am sorry about. I am sorry about every tree I ever rolled.
That's funny.
Let the dew hit that, and it is horrible on a 40-foot oak. And you got ball players tossing that thing over, but they got creative too. We had this one. I'll get back to this, and we had this one where it was just perfect timing. We had ordered a new bedroom set. It's the only bedroom set I didn't get from Would You Furniture, because I wanted something a little more ornate. And I'd found a manufacturer that had all real wood, and it was ornate. So I ordered it. So we waited. It came in. And, well, it hadn't come in yet. It was coming in the next day. And so we'd cleared out the room, got the old bedroom stuff out, it was our old house, and put the mattress there at the front, which was right by the front door.
Right.
So we had the box spring and the mattress, and it was the California King. So it was a big old mattress. It was taking up our office, which is right by the front door. And we're sleeping there that night, right? So I mean, it's a comfy bed, and I don't care which room I'm in. I'm like, I'm probably snoring. I'm like, and all of a sudden it's like, pow, 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 pow. I mean, it was just, you got to ask Dawn. So maybe we do need to get her on here. I went from laying down to literally standing straight up. There was no on my knees. And I mean, it was.
You popped up.
I just sort of bounced and went up. It was weird. And I'm standing up, you're not awake, and there's flashes. I think my younger years are coming back. I think the Popo have thrown a flashbang in, and they're coming through, and I don't know whether to flush something, run. I've never messed with drugs, but I still think I'm like a gang. I don't know whether to flush something, run with something, run out the back door. So it stopped. And I opened the door, and there's a fire going. Yeah, and it was dog poo as well. And it left a burn on the front of the thing for a year and a half. I finally painted it black and everything and did some stamping on it and all. But they got mad at that, and it was hilarious. I actually we're still not sure it was dog poo. There was something in it. I don't think they intended for all the firecrackers to ignite.
Right.
Because it literally ignited the bag. They rang the doorbell, and then it went on. And it left this burn mark, and there was some stuff in it. I don't know. So I didn't get close enough.
I miss those days.
Oh.
Down here, they don't have it. Up north, that was the night before Halloween every year.
Call your buddies now and see if they have it now. I think it's
Mischief Night.
Oh, you mean they literally have a night called Mischief Night?
The night before Halloween. We used to go out and run around town and toilet paper people's houses and trees and write on everything with soap and egg people's houses. And they wouldn't sell eggs in our town the night before Halloween.
Okay, but the mayor didn't get on that's evil. Egg pills paint. But you didn't know. Did you know that back then? Okay, I didn't either. But I didn't really egg people. I did put a potato in the Trinity guy's tailpipe. Yeah. And it was out the next day. It was stupid. I don't even know what it did.
It stops the gas from going through and it stalls the engine out.
Okay, good. So I wasn't like
poisoning. It doesn't do anything.
All these years I thought I was like, could have killed the guy.
No.
Okay. I need to be Catholic because you just go do a little penance. You do 5 Hail Marys and it's over, right? No. Okay. Catholicism. Let's see who else.
Did Jamie Ellis?
Yeah, so I want to get deeper into Jamie and where she came from and her roots.
It'd be fun to find out more into
where Southern Grace started.
Exactly. Too. I mean, it started. She said it started from making stuff for her friends,
right?
Like during COVID,
right?
But there's got to be more to it than that,
right? I mean, somebody taught her how to make that
without
stuff
a doubt.
I mean, it was passed down. I believe some of it. She won't even show me her ingredients. She's greedy like that.
That's why she has a good product.
She's an Auburn fan. Okay, whatever.
A war eagle.
Will you pick? You're a tiger and an eagle.
Pick one.
Well, okay. I have a lot of Mr. Johnson. Mr. J is an Auburn fan, so I was around a lot of them for years, so I understand it, and I'll help people that may not understand. There is a war eagle cry, but the tiger is their mascot.
Mm-hmm.
Then why do you fly the bird in
at the beginning of the football game?
Which is one of the most phenomenal things. I watched a documentary about that, which is one of the most phenomenal things I've ever seen. Watching that bird and it swoops with all, it goes around. I mean, it like flies over everybody.
Oh yeah.
I wonder if it ever poops on anybody.
I'm sure. I'm sure it's happened.
Oh, that'd be sort of funny.
Hopefully it's the Gator fans.
Oh, Jamie, we talked about. I want him more on there. Al, we talked about. Dude, you know what? We've covered everybody.
I believe so.
I've enjoyed this.
So have I.
This is fun. This helps me too. This will help me in the future when I bring them back as well. I think we can say that we have absolutely been authentically raw.
We have to this point,
yeah.
For sure.
No, that will shut it down. That's the only way I would shut it down, is if all of a sudden this thing got so commercialized that you lose the...
I don't think you'll ever let that happen.
I won't, because money isn't a factor for me.
Nope.
Not because I'm a billionaire. Although I do like the gold rush people. They go, listen, we're all millionaires. We just got to dig it out of the ground, which is sort of true.
Very true. You could go out and dig and become a millionaire.
Well, shoot, you can buy a building.
True.
I mean, how many years did I mention the building?
Since I've known you.
Yeah, I've been talking about it since early 2000s at least. So next week is Jeff Imperial.
Yes.
It'll be more authentically raw. It'll be PG rated. It may even be rated for kids. I can see Jeff doing anything that wasn't rated for a kid. Well, I know he won't, but I'm saying me. I think I actually haven't cussed that much.
Mm-mm.
I've been pretty good.
Yeah.
This has been fun, and I'm not talking about just this episode, because I don't know if it's as entertaining to people. But it's helped me go through all the people again and watching them. And now I have some good points for some of them that I want to bring back. Some may not want to come back. They may have watched it enough times to go, geez, I don't like the way I was represented. And I'd love to have them back on. I have not heard that yet.
No, everybody we've talked to has been more than wanting to come back.
And what I have found on my end is how freeing it has been to dive into who we are, what we do.
Before we do it.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get a whole bunch of crap if you don't.
What?
You got to talk about Becky.
Oh, crud. I asked if we did everybody.
I thought, and I was going through it in my head.
Okay, thank you so much.
It's going through it in my head.
Okay, so Miss Rebecca is a special individual.
Yes.
So here's a woman who has fought life on one end, started a business, blew that business up.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder. So one question is, I wonder if she was a better boss or a better. Now I'm not going to say which one she was because she always corrects me. She wasn't a nurse.
She was a home care.
Home care. I wonder if she would consider herself a better boss or a better actual caregiver. Because in life, she mixes both pretty well.
Yeah, she does.
She handles conflict different than I would think her personality would handle it. Because she's a boss.
Oh, without a doubt.
And yet I've seen her be patient in dealing with, she's had some butt heads around here that have said some really rude things that can be hurtful. You know, I mean, especially to a new business.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, me, I've been in it so long. I mean, you know, my skin's just too thick. Sometimes too thick. That'll get me in trouble, is the thickness of my skin. That's why I love having my daughter. I mean, so Miss Rebecca has taken this boutique thing to a whole nother level.
Without a doubt.
It stands on its own.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't need vintage.
For sure.
It doesn't need vintage one.
And it's just proof in that we have so many people come walk through the front door and go right past us to get there.
Nope. But it's not just because of the clothes. It is Becky's ability to have empathy for people.
I agree.
Her range of people that she can not only endure but mentor in different ways. Sometimes it's a mother kind of a mentor. Sometimes it's wisdom. Sometimes it's a butt kicking. And she has been very direct with me in many times. And so I respect people that are direct. I don't like dancing around the bush. And she doesn't do that. And yet I've seen her dance when it was time to dance to get things accomplished. And I'm not talking about like being fake dancing. I mean, it wasn't time to stand your ground on something. We were trying to get something done bigger. And yet I've seen her fire people that, I'm not talking about employees, but people that build outs and things like that it wasn't going right. The brick wasn't laying out right.
Yeah, exactly.
Her attention to detail.
It's impeccable.
Yeah. Yeah. There's few that run with me in energy level. I don't know. I don't. Energy level is the wrong word. She will go neck and neck up and down that ladder. She'll get sore tomorrow and be at it the next day. She cannot stand waiting for me to help.
She can't stand waiting for anybody to help.
That's because she's a grinder. I mean, when you have had to do it on your own for so many years, you learn to do it on your own with no affirmation, no this, no that. I mean, you start paying attention to these people that are really successful in life, and they have that ability to walk through fires on their own. They're not really on their own, but it looks like they're on their own. But in her podcast, she talks about, or in her episode, she talks about all the people that surround her that are her mentors, the older ladies that she is always drawn to. And we see in here, the queen, who I love. And she would be somebody fun to have on here. She would be a hoot.
Oh, yeah, she would.
Especially I get her drinking a little wine. That would be awesome. No, Becky is, I've had people leave here that have really despised us being me, have made claims. I've had good people. We had that one young lady that came in the other day. That was so nice. I needed that. Who sold toys in here for a while. And then, she comes in and sees Becky in the boutique now. And I got a hug and I got a smile. And that warms me. I like that stuff. So all this battling crap, But Becky's not afraid to put up her dukes either.
Not at all.
She'll go to war. Yeah, I wouldn't want to push on her.
Nope.
I would.
No, if you cross Becky, she's going to be right in your face.
What? No, what Becky is, Becky's not necessarily in your face for me, and this is just my opinion. Becky is relentless. And that is part of a grinder.
Yeah.
Now, and this will be fun because I want to have her back on. because this will be fun. And her son's coming on.
Yep, Brandon will be here.
Okay, so Brandon will be on.
I believe you said the week after Jeff.
The week after Jeff. So what Brandon is Brandon is going to be he's the next generation, but he's the leading edge of the next generation.
Yes.
Like there's Zach and them. Well, no, they're almost neck and neck. But now you got this new gen. What are they calling it? You don't even know what's the new generation? Oh my gosh. Oh, it's a good name.
Yeah.
Although our Gen X was pretty good. I like ours. New generation name. What would we do without a phone? Alpha. Gen Alpha.
I'm not going to lie. Last night I left my phone at Publix by accident.
Did you really?
And I went back and thank God it was there. But literally the whole way to get back to Publix, it wasn't, I got to get a new phone. I was thinking, what am I going to do tonight when I'm laying on the bed?
We're addicted to these things.
Yeah. I looked the other day. It said I had 5.3 hours of screen time per day last week.
Wow.
So when I get home from work, I lay and watch videos all night.
I can get, especially since we started on YouTube, I get caught on YouTube sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Where will Rebecca end up? Who we lovingly call Miss Becky. She'll probably want to take over this whole building. No, I don't think she'll do that.
No.
Now she's in bridal. That came out of nowhere.
That's pretty
what
cool.
Yeah, but that's what she does. That was a dynamic opportunity.
Yeah.
And she dove all over it. We'll just leave that at that.
I mean, but she's
that's
also breaking out into some other stuff in the store soon.
Yep. It's hard to keep someone like her reined in. And in reality, you don't really want to. Because have you seen the spread she does and the parties that she throws? And for me, as a business owner, a dynamic partner.
Oh, without a doubt.
I think I gave that word out too easily early on. That we're all partners and dealers, and in reality, a lot of them were just vendors.
Yeah.
And I treated them like dealers as they acted like vendors, and that's where the conflict started. And so then once it got out of whack, I would try to correct it, and it was
too late.
It's like a kid. And I'm not calling them kids in any way, shape, or form, but it's like a child.
You had to move past that to get to where you wanted to be.
But there weren't many that I asked to leave. Was there anybody I asked to leave? There was a couple that I said I wouldn't re-up,
right?
But we never got to it.
I don't
like Linda. I never would have re-upped.
No. The only one I think really asked to leave was, in a way, was McKella.
No, I still love McKella. No, I don't remember it that way. That'd be cool to sit down with her.
Yeah.
Because I learned a lot from her. She's got a lot of good skill sets. That's another grinder. You want to talk about somebody who has been through a war. And that's what was so crazy is, I mean, there was hugs and tears.
Yeah.
And then it got to that, and so, but that,
No, but other than you haven't really asked anyone to leave.
Yeah. No, and that's
remember.
the way I like it. I like them making their own decisions. Sometimes you have to go a little too far than I would like to go. And maybe that's where the ugly, because I guess maybe I saw it in franchisees as well.
I'll say this. You didn't ask them to leave. You asked them to make a choice.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, no, but that was said well up front.
Mm-hmm.
That was made very clear. I mean, they wish for me to go out of business and to hurt my family.
Yep.
That's different than business competition. And then they've gone about it in unethical ways. I mean, fake reviews.
Yeah. That's bad.
30 plus years. Please come and challenge me.
Yep.
Sue me. This is defamation if I'm wrong. If I can't prove it.
So.
Oh, it absolutely is. But it also can be spun the opposite way. They need, people aren't looking at all the views, and so there is not your truth and my truth. There is one truth. And there's one thing that happens. Now, there's different views on what happens, and that I'll leave to everybody else. I don't care. Here's what I try to do. I try to treat everybody with the respect that I would like. And then I meet whatever force I met with the same force. And, you know, and it in the real business world, it works well.
Mm-hmm.
In this industry, it's been a learning curve. You know, because you have people that rent, and it means a lot to them. You know, they rent $300, $500 a month, and you know that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
But when you're looking at payments and the kind of monies I've put in, and and then you've covered like the first 3 months, and you're covering rents, and they're talking about losing $100, and you're going, what?
Yeah.
It took me a while to associate with that. Well, we learn and we grow. I do. I try to.
Yeah.
And I also think I am toxic to certain people.
Yeah, you said that the other day when we were talking to one of the new vendors that's coming in.
Yep. This didn't come from me. This is taught to me. This is not something that I've come up with on my own necessarily. I might be adding to it, but my personality is toxic to people that are not authentic.
I agree with that.
I had no clue, Dave. I never knew why I rubbed somebody the wrong way. Because to me, it was just passion.
Right.
But to them, it's not passion. I'm like pecking at them. But yet you're doing the pecking. And so it would be very confusing for me. And I'm going, how did we get here? But I also violated, like in this business, I violated sound business principles as much as I did with the Orange Crush. I mean, the way that we ran, the way that corporate was run,
right,
was not how I started this business. I started this business with more of a family atmosphere, and
very much,
yeah, and it's not, it's not in many ways. I mean, there can be relationships that are built and grown. And I have deep love for a lot of the vendors that are in here, and many of them have been with me since day one, and we call them OGs. And many of the OGs have left, and I still have love for them, even ones that might not like me that much. I'm not gonna spend time hating. I'm just not gonna do it. It's wasted energy. It's smoke and mirrors, man. I spent too many years doing it. I spent too many years watching people hate for hate's sake, and it becomes an energy for you. For me, it became an energy. I mean, I needed that as fuel. I didn't know, if I didn't have a competitor, I didn't know what to do.
right.
And so now I know how to compete against me, and so it opens up a whole nother door that, come to find out, I'm better to compete against, because there are creators and there's followers. And we all do it in different ways. There's nothing wrong with following and then adapting and making it better than.
Right.
That's still creating. And it can be with me or against me. I have people that have done things against me, and you've heard me say, it's actually pretty good moves. That's actually a good move. That's actually a good move. If I was in their shoes where they were, that would be something I'd be looking at as well.
Gotcha.
And then there's other stuff that people do that I'll never. I don't care what people do to me. I'm not going to retaliate in the same fashion, because I don't call it karma, but I have seen it in my life. What comes around goes around. Whatever that is. Here's what I believe. This is my, and maybe we'll end with this. This is my view. I believe that God and Satan, or whatever we want to call, higher power, lower power, whatever you want to call them, I believe that God lays the foundation on this earth to benefit those that sow the right seeds. I believe that the lower power sows this earth to benefit those that sow the seeds of selfishness and self-centeredness and envy and jealousy and all the ugliness that I have been in my life and I have seen in other people's lives. And we've seen, P. Diddy and all this Hollywood crap and all the artists and athletes pointing at each other in college as he shoves them down. And, there's no basic human respect. Well, it's here on this earth, but it is waning. it doesn't have the power that it did any more than church does today. How many people you see on interviews? Do you know Jesus? Do you even know who he is? That kind of. To me, I'd be like, of course, everybody.
Right.
They don't.
No.
They don't even know who. They don't even know the name. I'm like, how do you go through life and not even know the name? There are people that have never even been to church, and I'm not talking about for the Baptists or the this. Like, you know me, I'm not getting into the religious side of it. I mean, I will sit down with a religious person and talk about their beliefs and their faiths and everything if they want to, but it won't be for to change people's minds. It'll be more of an understanding and how it correlates or differs from what I believe, but it's not to change people's minds, and it just got so out of whack. And so I got to the point where I now have a different purpose, and it's not money, so you can't take it from me.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not fame, so you can't take it from me. And it's not, my joy doesn't come from what I get in this building or what I get in any of the other businesses I'm involved in, the successes we've had, the failures. None of that brings pain or joy for me anymore. They're all experiences to be learned from and to be careful in. Because whether I'm high on the mountain or low down, I'm going to meet those people back up through and as I come up and down that mountain. And I've been there enough times, where I have been egotistical in my younger years and have made comments and I've eaten crow and I learned from that, and I don't ever want to repeat. I really try not to repeat my mistakes more than once. And I do, like a lot of us do. And I think that's what all about the grind is. It's about business. It's about life. It's about learning and growing. And I think we're doing a fabulous job personally. And I think you have a big part in that. We didn't even
appreciate it.
We didn't even know how to hook this stuff up.
Look at that.
And now we got Jeff Imperial, who has met how many Hall of Famers do you think he has pictures with?
You.
I mean, I would dare say we're 50, 60, 70, 100. It's more than. He shoots one Jaguar game. Y'all will love him. He knows all the Jaguars from the early years. Baselli. Yeah. I mean, he was there. He shoots all the video. He shoots the Florida Gators, softball, baseball, basketball. He's been there for national champions.
Yeah.
He graduated from the University of Florida and was in a fraternity. I don't know that. I never was in any of that stuff. Fraternity I do know that his brothers and him in the fraternity still are involved today. I have questions about that because I don't know anything about fraternity life,
right.
And I'm not talking about the dark side. And all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But just the camaraderie,
the brotherhood that it is.
It
was just something I was never interested in.
Yeah, and he went through a health scare here recently.
Yeah,
and this is a healthy man. And so, and not only that, but just all the athletes this man has met and the stories he has to tell. And then, he shoots, his main job is he shoots medical procedures.
Correct.
So he sits there over top shooting medical procedures at a teaching hospital while he's eating lunch. I mean, with these guys and girls opened up and he's like chewing on a sandwich. I mean,
yeah.
I would be dry heaving. So I'm excited about him. I'm excited about Brandon coming.
Yes.
And then we're already starting to lay out some of the other speakers that we got coming.
Brandon's coming. That's going to be great because he was a big part of doing this for us.
Yeah, I agree. No, we wouldn't have any of this set up really. And we've had a couple fires as well that we wouldn't be able to put out had it not been for Mr. Brandon. And had it not been for Miss Becky, we wouldn't know Miss Brandon.
Very true.
So what do you know? People and relationships are absolutely crucial in life.
Yes.
We'll see y'all in the next episode with Jeff Imperial, and we may even call it The Picture of Life.
That'd be pretty cool.
Look at that. We already have a title. See y'all next week.
Yeah, I learned to stay strong. Concrete in the dirt I was raised on. Know how to put in
That was
work.
good.
Grinding all day.
That was good for me.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Skin is thick, yeah, it's tough. Running, yeah, we stay alive.